Welcome back to Eliances Heroes, where heroes in business align. To be part of our super community and find out more about Eliances, visit www.Eliances.com. Now, back to our super host, David Cogan, founder of Eliances.
Well, thank you again, and thank you, too, for all the recent feedback we had from having Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank on the show recently, and Craig from Craigslist.com. Phenomenal feedback, and this morning we started off the show with the pioneer of electronic and digital music, Thomas Dolby, the one who's famous for blinded me with science. And we just had on the founder and CEO of Dollar Days at dollardays.com. Well, let me talk to you about our next hero. He founded or bought 20 companies in 9 countries and is recognized as one of the world's top innovators in technology, media, and telecommunications sectors. That's right, David McCourt with Granahan McCourt Capital. And you can reach him by going to GranahanMcCourt.com. We'll also have it on our website at Eliances.com. Now, David, for those that may not know about what your company does, can you go ahead and share with us some information about it?
Sure, David. Thanks for having me on. Granahan McCourt is we're an investor operator, so we're a little bit different, our model, than anyone else. We only invest in companies that we put our own money in first before we ask anybody else to put money in. We take our own money out last. And we operate the businesses. So right now we have 7 businesses, all in the same space: technology, media, telecommunications. And our backstory is we look for where there's technological change, regulatory change, or consumer behavioral change, and that's where we like to invest.
In fact, you're widely acknowledged as a leading global entrepreneur and business leader. I mean, The Economist described you as having impeccable credentials as a telecom revolutionary. In fact, you founded a corporate communication network, and I love this, the first competitive telephone company in the U.S. In fact, that company merged with another company, MFS, and was sold to WorldCom for over $14 billion. David, though, how did you learn to be able to do all this and make the magic happen with these companies?
Well, in the case of Corporate Communication Network, I had a simple premise, which was back 25 years ago, more computers were talking to each other than people were talking to each other. So I said, well, wouldn't it be easier to purpose-build a network around moving data rather than try to retrofit the voice network? So what the phone companies did back then was they kept on taking their twisted copper pair wire, and they said, I got to invent products to push data through copper. And they came up with products like dial-up internet access, which is basically a data product through a voice network. And I said, let's just build a network right from scratch around moving data, around computers talking to each other. And we were lucky. We were at the right time at the right place, so we were like a dog speaking, right? We were doing something that no one else had done before. We totally blew up the old model. We forgot everything that or never knew the old way of doing things, so we just looked at it a brand new way. So we were very lucky, David. And then the telecom revolution took off, so we were able to sell it for a bunch of dough. So we were brave enough to think differently, and just not maybe we weren't smart enough to be afraid. So and we had a lot of luck on our side, so it worked out just great.
I love it. And David, now you must get a ton of people that present their ideas and their businesses to you and that. How, though, what's the secret tips that you can provide of how do you know which ones to get involved with, invest with, and work with so many that are out there?
Well, we don't focus on the ideas as much as we focus on the people. So we like I said earlier, we look for where there's technological change, regulatory change, or consumer behavioral change. And if there's one of those, that's mandatory for us. We like it better when there's 2, and we go crazy in happiness if there's all 3. And then we have a thesis. So within that thesis, we look for either people or businesses that are operating under the umbrella of that thesis. And when we find that, we try to find the right jockey, the right people underneath that umbrella thesis. So we don't look at everything. We're not smart enough to go out and look at all industries and all types of businesses. We're pretty particular that we stick in the T space, the telecom, media, telecommunications space.
Great. And we're talking with David McCourt. He is the chairman and CEO of Granahan McCourt Capital. He can be reached at GranahanMcCourt.com. Let me spell that out. GRANAHAN McCourt.com. Of course, we'll have his information posted on our website, Eliances.com. That's ELIANCES.com, the place where entrepreneurs align. These are where builders, there's events going on, experiences, get involved. We work with a lot of investors, inventors, mentors, and much more. And David, now you tell me about some of these current projects that you're working on. You've got, a variety. You mentioned that there's 7 going on now. What's going on? Which ones excite you the most?
I guess there's probably 3 that excite us the most. One, we have a public-private partnership going on in Europe with the Irish government, where we built a network together, and it's a wholesale network. When I first got into the phone business, of course, the incumbent had 100% of the traffic, and I was scratching my way to take 1%, 2% from him, and he'd go from 100 to 99 to 98. Well, now, if you look around the world, the incumbents have 40% of the traffic, and people that followed me over the last quarter of a century have built competitive phone companies. They've taken up 60% of the traffic. So now we're building private wholesale utility-type networks where we're saying to the 60 people that are in the business I used to be in, come use my network. Because when I built my network, David, I could afford to build a network because I was competing against one guy. When there's 70 people out there competing against the incumbent, they each can't afford to build their own network. So I'm saying I'll build a network, and maybe in my case it's a public-private partnership with the government, and I'll let all you guys on for the same price as an open access wholesale utility type network. That's one business, and we have opportunities that we're looking at in Spain and France and the Turks and Caicos and a bunch of other places. The other 2 businesses that we really like are all based on the crowdsourcing sort of movement that's going on, which is how do you get people around the world to do for you what normally you'd be spending money to have done. And one is a company called Finder, FINDYR, and that's owned by one of our companies called Emergent Data Group. And with that company, the Finder app, which you can find in the App Store, allows you to use crowdsourcing to task someone anywhere around the world to do something for you. And we do a lot of surveys for people like Gallup, some of the biggest survey companies in the world. We do a lot of observational data for people. Wrigley's Gum wants to know what the price of their gum is right now in China in 50 stores. We can ask people in our network to go in the store and take a picture of it right now.
Wow.
It's geolocated, so we know it's accurate. And the last thing is ALTV.com. Again, you can go to the App Store and get the ALTV app. That's going to be for the 4 billion people around the world that we're going to teach them how to produce Hollywood-style content, world-class content, using our app to produce world-class content that you can view on our website and on social media and so forth, and help match them up with advertisers. So that's a video a destination, and the new app will come out here in a couple months, and it will be the best in the world for what it is. But right now, the website is up. It's had 100 million viewers on it. And we started it in the Middle East, and then it's going to go to South America after that. But it's going to be a global destination for aspiring content creators. We're going to give them the tools and a percentage of the revenue to go out and produce content, world-class content.
Wow.
And that's ALTV.com.
Well, they all sound.
So those are sort of the things we're most.
Yeah, they all sound extremely exciting. I don't know how you keep track of all this, but I mean, it's incredible. Now, we've got a little less than a minute left, but I need to ask you, if you were addressing a school full of kids, all wide-eyed and open to whatever you had to bestow them with your great knowledge amassed throughout your fantastic and successful career, what would you share with them?
Look, it's because so much of this is dependent on luck. I would tell them, be prepared. It's a shame to be ready and not be called, but it's a sin to be called and not be ready. Just be prepared. And second thing I tell them is think differently, or if you can't think differently, don't be afraid of other people who do.
Excellent. Well, David, you're prepared, so be prepared. That's right. You're a pioneer. You were a revolutionary in the telecommunications field. You went on to do so many things, in fact, producing award-winning documentaries and films. You worked to create a world of peace. That's a hero. David McCourt. You can reach him at Granahan McCourt.com. This is David Cogan with Eliances. And thank you to our fantastic, incredible producer, Glue, with LoopyDocs.com for all your editing needs. This is David Cogan with Eliances.